Turn on my mic, that'll help. There you go. Hello, welcome to Beast Pat Paints. I'm Pat. It's been a bumpy morning today. I've been dealing with. I shouldn't say that. Dang it. I gotta get better at this because eventually we might actually have like monetized streaming one day. I doubt it, but it could happen. So anyway, it's been a wild morning. My Wi-Fi has been acting crazy, and this system here all runs through the Wi-Fi because I guess that's just what we do now. So anyway, that's what we're doing. So when my Wi-Fi is down, none of my rigs work. So it's like, how are we gonna do this? But luckily we got the Wi-Fi back on and everything seems to be functioning now. For now, we'll see. I didn't even get to like comb my hair and stuff. It's like, oh, come on. So anyway, I got to deal with that all morning long, and so you know, now it's time to paint something, make something, do something. I didn't get around to printing off that stuff like I was hoping. So I still have so much of this other stuff I've got to do. I've got to get it in line so that I can clear off some of this bench and get some room to work because it gets a little crazy. Speaking of which, it's getting clearer all the time over here. I guess this guy doesn't really need to be over here. He's done, but he keeps hanging out. He's the twin to this one, so they're built off the same model, which is fun. That's fun, right? It's fun. Oh, okay. So we were painting. That's right, we're painting stuff. Or actually, no, we're gonna put the green stuff on this to hide this break and maybe strengthen that area a little bit. That's what we were gonna do. So let's do that. If you're not familiar with green stuff, it's a two-stage epoxy similar to your Milliput, which is the brown tannish one. Well, I buy the terracotta one. I think you can buy Milliput in a couple different colors. But it acts differently than green stuff. The way that's about even, right? The way it functions and stuff is a little different, and they feel a little different when it's all said and done. Even when green stuff is done, it's got a little bit of give to it. See, yeah, it's a little bit rubbery. Like this is set, but it's still a little rubbery, right? So like you could still kind of mold it. And I suppose if you held it in place for a long enough time, it would probably take whatever shape you wanted. But you can like sand this stuff. It sands down a little bit. This is just an older thing I was working on. I just thought I'd bring it out so you guys can see kind of what it's like. It's a kind of a coarser sandpaper, so it's going to be some street sand. But you can see when it's done, it's hard. It'll sand. It's got some good stuff. A lot of times, what they used to do is people would sculpt with this. They would make like an armature for a miniature like this, and then you would sculpt with it. You'd sculpt things, the details and stuff in with the green stuff, and then you would make a cast and you would make minis. That's how a lot of miniature artists used to make minis. Now you do a lot of that in digital files and stuff, and then you just print it, and then you can make a mold from the print. But in the old days, when I was a boy, back 1,000 years ago, that's what we did. That's how it worked. Pretty cool, if you ask me. All right, so we want to get this good and mixed up. And it takes a while for this stuff to set, so you've got some time. Don't feel like you gotta get in a huge rush here. you'll see why we call it green stuff, because it's going to turn green, because it was blue and yellow epoxies, right? So, all right, you can see it's kind of like gum or whatever. It's very sticky. It sticks real good. When I was younger, I used to think you could use this to stick stuff together, but it doesn't really work like that. It's great for filling in cracks. It'll be really good for this because it's going to stick to what we want it to stick to and still kind of have some movement, so to speak. We'll be able to kind of flow it and have it bow out just a touch. Okay, make a big old snaky snake. If you don't know how to make a snake, what did you do when you were a kid? I probably made way more than I really need because that's just the nature of this beast. A little gentle pressure at first. Get started. Like I said, this stuff's sticky. Be careful with it. Stick right to it. There's that. I'm doing my knife. I just had it. There it is. It's probably way longer than we need it to be. Be like a scarf twice the size. Probably more. We can probably take it right here. Cut that off. That's probably the size we really need. Now, here's a great opportunity to just go ahead and taper these just a touch. Whatever they call that, where I got that chip knocked out of it. Whatever you want to call that. I guess we could legitimately make some fringe if we really wanted to. I don't really know that would. Okay, this is more like the way a ribbon would look. If you go. You guys can see what I'm flipping doing. It's hard to see with that flag too, so I'm trying to find the best angle to work at here. Quit sticking together. I guess it might have been easier just to sculpt it as a knot. I thought it was going to be fun to tie it as a knot. We'll see if I can pull it off. I don't think I'm going to be able to. I'm going to have to just sculpt it as a knot. Well, that was fun. I thought I'd be able to pull it off. I think I feel like I did that before once. Maybe I had a wire in it. It's been a long time since I've done something like this, so we'll see. We'll see. We'll get it. Give it a second. We'll make our snake again. We'll try that again. And that's just kind of part of the game. You feel like maybe something's gonna work and then it won't, and so you have to back up and you have to do it a different way. That's kind of why I like doing these live videos. You know, that way people can see like how something went wrong, and maybe that'll help them, you know, figure out how to do their own projects and stuff. Like, oh, this didn't really work. That worked. You know, it just seems like it would be helpful to me. Maybe if we have a longer piece and then we cut it once it's on there, that'll work. Maybe that's what I did. Because I feel like I've done this before. It just feels like this isn't working out the way it did last time. And it isn't the product. It's definitely me not doing it the way whatever it is I did last time. Yeah, that's what I did. I didn't cut it till I already had it on him. That's how I did it. This is why most of your Warhammer guys do these things as like purity seals, because you can just put the purity seal on there and it works. So we are going to have to sculpt that on there. Okay. That is definitely how that's going to work. Which is alright. We can do this. We can get it to sculpt the way we want it to. Oh, one of his little pouches fell off. So in order to get it to do that, we're kind of going to have to... Okay, so... It's easier if you can get it to just tie on there. That's why I'm kind of trying to avoid having to do all this. Maybe I should have just gotten a real ribbon and tied a real ribbon on there. That's okay. I've got a pretty good understanding how knots work, so should be able to knock this out without with no big deal. That light is in the wrong spot. I always feel like everything's in the wrong spot when it's not going well. Not go exactly as I want it on there. I was really hoping I was just going to be able to tie this thing on. But of course not. We gotta I'm glad that wasn't breakable. This out. Some sort of knot. The hardest part about a lot of this is getting it to get smooth and look like a piece of cloth coming off of something. It can be really difficult. When you're trying not to break the break the thing it's attached to. Good morning, Sir McBeardsly. Good to see you. I'm currently trying to get this ribbon. Oh, and I broke it. Son of a dick. Oh. Okay. Alright. Okay. Oh. Golly. You almost want to just put something else in his fucking hand. So irritating. That really sucks. Yeah. I think I finally slept all right maybe the night before. Last night, not so much. I don't think. I don't know. It gets really hard to remember. I don't sleep very well in general, so it's hard to remember which days were really bad and which days were just kind of bad. And which days are good. Every now and again, I get a really good night. Sleep pretty good. That is definitely the rarity. It's not the norm. Sleep is important, y'all. Get as much good sleep as you can. Alright, well, at least now we don't have to try to go around the dang flag. Maybe we can do this the easy way. Wasted like 24 minutes trying to get this shit done. Like I said, if we can get it to make a tie for us, that is going to make our lives 10 times easier. Might be a little easier when this stuff is cured up just a little bit more as well. Not every day, maybe not every day quite right. But at least now we've got the look of the tie here. Shrink it down. And then we'll just stick it in. We'll stick the hole in it and be done with it. Excess seems a lot easier than what we were doing. Shoot. It's already trying to stick together like crazy. So it's gotten too cold. I said it looked like it was easier. It's definitely not. Might have to actually just sculpt this on the bench and then stick it on there. That's why I don't do a lot of green stuff work, because it is a pain in the ass. The people that are really good at it, you gotta give them hella props. Look right here. Or I'm not to sculpt it on the. I'm to sculpt it over down here and then like stick it on there. 6 is your norm. 6 is a good. That's a good norm. That's good. All right, we'll try again. Oh, that should have been thinner. Shit. I'm not doing well. It was a rough morning. I didn't get things set up the way I like. I was scrambling because my internet was acting funky. I thought I was gonna have to cancel. It's like, dang it. So I'm glad we're back on. Now I'm just fucking up for fun, I guess. I don't know. Fuck. Why the fuck not, I suppose. Definitely one of those days where you just wish you could start the whole thing over. You're like, yeah, man, can I just start over? I'm gonna go wake up somewhere else and start this thing over. Or not wake up somewhere else, just wake up again. Just say, I don't really care to be somewhere else or be someone else. But man, I sure wish sometimes you could just start a day over again. Man, today would have been a good one. I like to start the day over, like knowing what, like, is gonna happen from the time before I decided to start over. Kind of like a video game. Like, oh, okay, well now I can avoid these things. That'd be nice. Life would be nice if it were just like a video game, but it's not. Should go up and in there. Dang it. Got it stuck together again. Oh well. Don't pull on them. Purity seals are way easier than trying to figure out to get knots on something. Especially if you want it to look decent. It's really hard. At least it is for me. I'm sure there's lots of folks out there that make this stuff like breeze. Although you don't see a lot of live sculpting. At least not at this scale. A lot of these guys will do their stuff in private, most likely because like nobody really wants. It's not fun to have people watch you make mistakes. Coming from somebody who runs a channel where like, I think we make the most mistakes, it's not quite as much fun as you know, everybody winging and hawing over your stuff. And then you're sitting there trying to go, oh my god, I think I just made a huge mistake. So now we gotta make that knot look like a blob on his hand. And look like a knot. And then I guess we'll glue this other part back on. At least we got the ribbon part right now. There we go. Come on. There. Come on now. Play nice. There, thank you. Shoot. Alright, cool. Now finally getting somewhere. These little silicone tools are an absolute necessity if you're trying to get this stuff to smooth out. Just as an FYI. Really have enjoyed these things ever since I picked them up. I'm trying to still get used to having them, but man, they work. I can remember, if I remember I have them and use them. They work really, really, really well. Together. keep breathing while you do all this. Super important. Keep your nerves down. Keep your hands steady. Keep your thought processes flowing. Oxygen. It's good. Who would have thought? Without it, you die. Isn't that wild? Here we go. Now we're getting there. Okay. Probably let this set up a little bit more, and we'll come back and we'll clip the rest of that up and get that going. And I gotta figure out how I'm gonna get the stick back on there. Mother. The entire purpose of putting this on here was to hide all of the blueness that we had made prior. And now we're just gonna have to make a whole new round of glue mess. The joys of kit bashing, y'all. And I should definitely say the joy of spindly figures. He's pretty spindly. What else do we need? Oh yeah, we need to glue this thing back on. That's gonna need a pair of tweezers. Luckily, that is a good place for it to have glue goo. So crazy. Hey, how's it going, Francisco? Trying to get this thing all set back up. Pain in the ass. I love green stuff and hate green stuff all at the same time. Of course, you know, as soon as I put that on there to hide the glue I'd put down, to put this spear on. I probably broke the spear off again. So it's the nature of 3D printing, man. Like they if this were, you know, a cast piece. Dang it. We're gonna have to. Let's hope we're just gonna get the stick back on there, but I think we're probably gonna have to file it. Get it to stick. Such a pain in the butt. Oh, yeah. I remember it wasn't a year ago. It was not that long ago. It was like what, 3-4 months ago? Maybe 6 months ago. I remember Frantag. I remember you. I remember the Frantag tag for sure. Nice to see you back again, friend. I had just gotten all this sculpted on there. I was working on getting it sculpted on here to hide where I've been gluing this staff or this spear back into his hand, and I broke it. So, but no, I'm doing all right. Things are going pretty well. Channel's going well. We're slowly and surely cruising through models around here. We're up to like 314 subscribers, which is like wild to me. Wild in like the best possible way, though, just so everybody is clear about that. It is definitely wild in the best possible way. All right, I got this pretty easy that time. It'll just stay. Nope, no, I didn't. It's off. Dang it. All right, let's try it again. It's always better to catch it early than have to like take it off when the glue is completely set. If I can just get this thing set on here right, I'll be a happy guy. Now let's just hope that holds. What time is it for me? What time is it right now? It is 10:47 in the morning. Which, you know, that's not bad here. But you're like in Eastern Europe or something, right? It's like no. Were you in where did you say you were? I'm trying to remember where you said you were at. It's either that or Malaysia. Anyway, yeah, I remember you saying it was like way early in the morning. New Zealand. That's right. I was like, wait a minute, no. It wasn't Europe, it was Yeah. New Zealand. Yeah. It's early as hell in New Zealand. Yeah. I appreciate you stopping by though. That's fun. What are you doing up this early anyway? Got tests? Or were you out drinking all night? If it were me, probably if I'm up at 5 something in the morning, I either gotta take my kids somewhere or I've been up all night. Oh, you're writing. Oh, cool. What do you write? I mean, like writing for like class, or do you write for fun, or both. Just to be interested. Fantasy novel. Hey, that's cool. That's cool, man. I always wanted to write a novel. I might one day. I just haven't been able to. I've been able to like decide like what I would write about. Oh, cool. Well, that's cool, man. I'm glad you have it. Yeah. I'll have to. Right. Yeah, my middle son really enjoys it. He likes telling stories and writing stories and stuff like that. I love telling stories, but most of my stories are about my life. So like it's easier than writing fiction. To me it is anyway. Telling stories about what's happened to you is way easier than coming up with stories about people. Although I'm a pretty good dungeon master, and I can come up with a pretty good story concept. I just get lost in like dialogue. I make my characters talk too much, so it ends up being like, I don't know, like a Charles Dickens novel where it just goes on and on forever and doesn't seem like it seems like we're repeating ourselves. Which, you know, that's one way to go, right? Hold on, I gotta check some stocks and stuff. Things have been a little crazy on the market as of lately. I don't know how many of y'all play the market or do any of that stuff, but it's been a wild ride. It's still dropping. Up and down and up and down. I turned my life stories into fantasy stories. Yeah, that's fun. Yeah, I've done that. I've done that a lot. Or taking a lot of stuff from history and then kind of altering some of the players and the ideas in it and stuff like that. Like I said, I probably could write if I really got around to it. I got so many things going. But you know, most of my kids are getting older, so pretty soon I might have the chance to do a little bit more stuff like that. All right, well, looks like we got to mix up a little bit of olive green paint. Pull out some gunmetal stuff, some metals, and put that all together. So, I know a lot, Warhammer Fantasy or Warhammer 40K. I know a lot about both, but I know more about 40K. I know a pretty good amount about old fantasy. Sigmar, I don't know. I haven't played Sigmar. When we were all young, we all had fantasy stuff. I have an old broken fantasy dragon. It's really cool. Yeah, I know a pretty good amount. If you're looking for like the 40K lore channel, I don't know if you checked out this guy's channel, but Luton, man, that guy is like the king of lore. His stuff's super deep. He gets into like theory and all sorts of stuff. Really neat channel. But in what was it that did fantasy? There was somebody who did fantasy that was really good. And they followed the entire deal. I love Skaven. I like rats. Like as like a enemy kind of thing. I love the concept of them. And since I was a DM all the time, I'm always playing bad guys. I get used to playing bad guys. I should say it's weird. But yeah, no, I really dig Skaven. I love their aesthetic. The toxic gas cloud, that kind of. I think that's cool, man. Because it's, plague rats is just that's icky. They used to have like a long time ago. They tried to put a little bit of Skaven into Warhammer into 40K, and we're talking a long time ago, back when they actually had a female space marine. it's really neat. Let's see. People have done some conversions. In them. They're supposed to be like the idea was that like eventually they changed them to they changed them over because so in like when I was younger and we were in like second ed, some of the stuff from first ed got taken out, and like squats and stuff like that just kind of all disappeared. By third ed they were all gone. And so like all these little concepts that they had, they kind of just went with what people were buying. And this is classic Games Workshop. Whatever people are buying, that's what they sell. That's why Space Marines always get the most love, because most people buy Space Marines. Because if I'm honest, Space Marines are the easiest to paint. Besides maybe Necrons. You can paint Necrons real fast. But after that, and only some Necrons. Some of the Necron stuff you gotta be a decent model builder. If you can't paint, you gotta at least be able to build models if you're buying some of the Necron stuff. But they are easy to paint. You could literally just paint them with silver and then throw some accents on them and you'd be done. And Space Marines are kind of the same way. You can literally just zenithal highlight them and throw a contrast paint on it, and then accent it, and you're done. It's easy. But if you're like, and that's what Games Workshop does. So they're like, people really buy a lot of Space Marine stuff, so they sell a lot of Space Marine stuff. And back in the day, people weren't really interested in space rats because you already had rats on the fantasy side, and they didn't really fit. Space rats just didn't in the 80s just didn't make any sense, you know. It wasn't like, I don't know, it just didn't jive with the times. Same thing with the squats, which were like space dwarves or whatever. Oh yeah, man! When it started out, they threw all sorts of stuff. Like I gotta find this model of the old female Space Marine model. It's from like the 80s, but this is one of the things that cracks me up so much because people get so bent out of shape about females and Space Marines, and it's like, but there was like. There it is. This is like this is old Hammer. Space Marine female. These existed. This was a real thing. But nobody cared. So they took them away for a little while. And then people started like, oh, we want them back. And so they brought in the Sisters of Battle. The Sisters of Battle weren't originally a playable army. It was just something that was talked about in the lore. And you could play Sisters of Battle for a while. And then they put Sisters of Battle in. But yeah, oh yeah. Oh man. Oh, listen, have you seen original Terminator models? Man, it's crazy. The old models. And this is one that was painted well. This is an old Terminator, but that's not even that old. That's from, is that a second ed? Let's see. Hold on. First ed. Okay, hold on. Carnifexes. This is a good one. So there's first edition's Carnifex. That's a first edition Tyranid Carnifex right there. And then let's see. I hate that Terminator armor. Because they look so derpy. Yeah. That's a first ed. That's a first ed model for Terminators. Crazy looking, right? Like, and then like and now they look like this. And this is the exact same model. This is the exact same unit. This is a Terminator with a Storm Bolter and a Power Fist. And this is a Terminator with a Storm Bolter and a Power Fist. This is the same model. And this model is about as big as this model. Just to show you some size comparison. In the change up. Oh, they look far more human now. They're more, the scale is correct. And we used to make fun of like what you would have to look like to be a Space Marine. Because like you would have to be like this weird little compact guy where your shoulders were like this big and your hips were too. And it's so weird for a person to fit into Terminator armor. You had to be like a genetic freak. It was so strange. And not the genetic freak that they describe. Not the one that they talk about. Like you'd have to be this like really crazy genetic freak that has no rights to exist, and please God put it out of its misery. I don't let it look at us, Papa. It terrifies me. Hush now, child. It'll be over soon. Like terrifying, man. Those things were butt ass ugly. I mean, it's so crazy because like this was probably, so here's a Space Marine flaming unit, Dark Angel's color, right? So this is literally the size that the Terminators used to be. And then hold on, because I got a bunch of stuff in here, y'all. Hold on. Where'd it go? Oh yeah, here we go. This is a Grey Knight Terminator in Aegis armor. This is the original, I think the original sculpt on this particular armor. This old ass metal piece, 1999. There you go. And look at the size. Look at that. That Space Marine. That Space Marine is this regular Space Marine is bigger than this Grey Knight in Terminator Aegis armor. Just so when we switched over to this, they changed the scale out completely. It's like the different, like, okay, wait. Here we go. This is Bjorn the Failhand in his Dreadnought. Okay, this is a Dreadnought. This is the current size of Terminators. So like all these Dreadnoughts are too small now. And here's the funny thing, you were supposed to be able to fit one of these guys' body inside of that sarcophagus. Hell no. His head is almost as big as the thing. Even with the helmet on. I guess it fit a little bit better, but they definitely changed it. Yeah, this is an old Dreadnought. That's Biel the Fellhand. And then you compare it to like a Dread Knight. Hold on. So here's a modern scale Dread Knight, sort of, because this is one of these Aegis scale Terminators I shoved in there. So even this that's supposed to be to scale with this is not. It's just not to scale, right? So it's crazy. It's crazy. It's mentally insane. Oh yeah, they're definitely trying to make it all bigger. 40K is anyway. Some of that comes down to the ability for painting. So like those old scales were hard as hell to paint. And I'll tell you right now, this guy, so easy to paint this. So easy to paint this. Going from painting something like this size to painting something like this size. Because again, this is more your scale for old school Games Workshop stuff. The scale on here is just 10 times easier. And you also got to, and here's something that most people forget. I'm going to say this. I hope everybody that pays attention to what I say or thinks that I have anything important to say. Or maybe you don't, I don't care. Games Workshop produces a game that is designed to get young adults into the game. That's what they do. That's how they got all of us. Okay? And that's what they're going to do in the future. They're never going to stop catering to the next generation that's coming up. Because that's what they do. Because that's how they make money. Because, like, if you get somebody started in 40K when they're 5, or 15, let's say 15. 5 is like my kids. My kids were into this stuff when they were little. Not everybody's kids are, but let's say 15. That's probably the main age group that they're targeting. 15 to say 25. That 10-year age group. If we can lock in somebody at 15 to 25 years old to get into this game and get all this stuff, all these things that we think we need for this, then they're invested and they're going to keep doing this over and over and over again. And they'll keep buying the plastic stuff in the boxes, which is what Games Workshop's trying to sell you, is plastic stuff in boxes in video games. Because, man, they make a ton of money off of video games. So, you know, think about who your target audience is. The target audience isn't me, man. I'm almost 50 years old. I'm not the target audience for Warhammer 40K anymore. I'm just not. It's too. They have me already. They don't need to target at me. They're going to target at the people who are coming up where we can get them involved. And so, like, making things easier to paint, that's the ticket, man. If you make things easier to paint, you can get more people involved. Because people get to where they're like, oh man, my army doesn't look as cool as so and so. Oh, my army doesn't look as cool as that guy's. Whatever, you know, there's lots of ways you can doubt yourself and you can down on yourself. And if you can kind of like take some of that away and make people feel successful in the small things, then they're more likely to stick around and continue to do them. So, you know, yeah. Well, I appreciate that. It's just it just makes sense, you know, from a marketing standpoint. You know that you would want to. You're one with a thing like this, like modeling. You're constantly trying to get people involved. So, you know, you just think of it logically. A lot of people are always like, "Oh, well, Games Workshop just hates their customers," and they're like, "No, they don't. They just know that they're going to need new customers because eventually." I hate to tell this to everybody, but Father Time is undefeated. Eventually, we are all naught but energy, and we will pass on from this realm into whatever realm it is we go to next. I don't pretend to know what that is, but I know that eventually, none of this, we're gone, and Games Workshop will still be here, and they'll still be making toys for good girls and boys, and hoping to make a little bit of money on the side, because that's what businesses do. And you know, it just it boggles my mind that people think that companies think in any other way other than how are we going to continue to sell our product, because that's what they want to do. They want to keep selling the product. Everything else is kind of secondary and tertiary. If they're not selling, then they're losing. They're so you gotta think about that. It's just like the idea that, oh, you know, cancer research companies want to cure cancer. Bullshit. No, they don't. They don't want to stop everybody from getting it anyway at all times. They just want to be able to treat the symptom when it happens. Because if they created some sort of like vaccine where we could all magically never get cancer again, there's no way they would release this thing, because then they don't make any money. What would be the point? And unfortunately, that's just life. life is just full of people trying to find ways to make a little bit of money here, make a little bit of money there. It's unfortunate, and I don't like it. But you know, what else are we gonna do, right? We gotta. You have to adapt to the world you live in. You can change the world after you've adapted, but you need to learn how to live in the world you're in to start. Otherwise, you're gonna get nowhere. You can change the world after you figure it out. It's just like if you're trying to build an airplane. Well, first you have to figure out how airplanes work, and then you can build a new airplane. But if you don't know how airplanes work in the first place, oh, it always has been. Hey, I love it, man. Have a great week, brother. Go get some rest. Oh, wow, we're over an hour. I want to get the rest. I want to get this painted in. I mixed this color up. Damn it, we're gonna get it painted. Absolutely, man. Thanks. I really appreciate chatting with you, man. I really do. That was awesome. That was some good laughs. All right, let's get this green in. Make sure we got everything done on that. I can put the nappy wash on there. So that's done. All right. Place where I accidentally hit it with that copper. Whew. All right, I think I gotta sign on out. I'll let all that set up. We'll let that thing finish drying. At least we finally got that figured out. That took us all most of the session there, but we got it figured out now. That's what matters. Smooth that out, maybe. I'm really trying to avoid having to come over it with like a sanding stick. That would suck. I've seen a lot of guys can get this stuff like super smooth, like smooth as glass. It really is a practice thing. The more you practice on something like this, the better you're gonna get. I haven't done it in a while, so it's kind of fun watching me fumble through it. But we got it figured out in the end. It looks great. Just took a little extra work, you know. Extra love, a little extra love. That's gonna look great. All right, well, let's see. Turn that off. Pull me down into the frame. And there I am. Well, that was a lot of fun. Thanks, Francisco, for showing up. Really appreciate you. That's a lot of fun. Really nice to talk to people. it makes it go super fast. Like all of a sudden, it was we were over an hour, and I felt like I just blinked. I didn't get as much work done, but as I wanted to. But that's all right. I'll get some of this stuff done off camera, and we'll be back to caught up in a couple of days. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun to pull out all the old Warhammer stuff. It's neat to see. It's neat to see it. So anyway, I hope you guys have a great day. I hope you enjoy the show. If you didn't enjoy the show, then give me a dislike. I guess I don't know. I don't know what people do anymore when they dislike. There's a dislikes on Facebook, so you can dislike whatever. I don't know why you dislike my show but I guess maybe if you really wanted to, you could. It's not gonna bother me. Yeah. But if you did like it, give me a like. I actually like that. I enjoy that. I was a chef for a long time, so I'm so used to haters and critics. Like it just rolls right off of me. But man, I do love a good review. I like it. People tell me you like what I do. So if you like what we got going on, give us a like. Sir McBeardsly and I would greatly appreciate it. Big shout out to McBeardsly as always for moderating. Even though we don't really see a lot of craziness go on. It doesn't happen very often around here. It's always nice to know that I got a sheriff in my pocket. So I appreciate him, and also big shout out to the patrons that keep paying work coming through the studio. I promise I'm going to get back to that here in a second. I'm just going to get my printer back. It's been a while to come back from that illness. I was super ill. It was a really crazy one. So, but I'm feeling like I'm actually feeling back to normal, which is good. A little bit of breathing here and there, but that's kind of I'm getting used to that. I think that's kind of just going to be a thing now that I'm older. I don't know. But yeah, we'll be back tomorrow for some more painting and some more jiving and talking. Yeah. Hope you guys have a great day. Be good to somebody. Be good to yourself. Be good to others. Go find somebody to be good to. And we're going to talk to you later. Bye.